إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى المال والبنون زينة الحياة الدنيا. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in a very important verse, He says that the beautification of life, the adornment of life, the pleasures of life are in two things. Number one, al-mal, in wealth. And number two, banun, in children. That one of the greatest pleasures, blessings, adornments in life are children. And some of us are blessed to have children, some are blessed not to have children. Only Allah knows who He gives and how many He gives to who. Because perhaps there is no blessing in life that comes with a greater responsibility than that of children. Listen to this narration in Sahih Muslim as the Prophet ﷺ says, ما من عبد يستدعيه الله رعيا يموت يوم يموت وهو غاش لرعيته إلا حرم الله عليه الجنة. Listen to the seriousness of this responsibility. He says, the Prophet ﷺ, that there is no slave who has been given authority or responsibility over somebody else, whether it's somebody responsible for an organization and workers, whether somebody ruling a country or a ruler, whether it's a father or a mother ruling or responsible for their children. That if this person in this position of authority and responsibility, the day he dies, if he is not doing everything he can to fulfill that responsibility, if he is coming short purposely in this way, حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ الْجَنَّةِ, but Allah has made Jannah for this person haram, forbidden. He will not be allowed to enter Jannah because of the greatness of their responsibility, and he is not taking it seriously. And if you look honestly, this is a topic that needs from us honesty. This is a topic that needs from us to be real with ourselves and our parents and our kids. If you look at the state of the youth today, honestly, many of us, or most of us as parents, are failing our responsibilities. You know what we're doing to our kids today? Truthfully and honestly. Listen to this poet, what he says. This is exactly what's happening today. He says, ألقيته في اليم مكتوفا وقلت له إياك أن تبتل بالماء. That you take a person and you tie their hands and you tie their feet and you throw them inside a river or a body of water, and then you'll tell that person that you dare not. There is no way that you should even get a little bit wet. Even your clothes should not get wet. And you've thrown them in the water in this state. This is exactly what we are doing today. We've taken our youth and we choose to bring them and raise them in the society we do, which is okay. But we tie their hands and legs. We do not give them the tools to deal with what will come next. And then when they get influenced, then when they do this and that, we get angry on them. And we start to blame this and we blame that and we blame the media and the school and the friends. When wallahi the first problem or the first blame should go back to us as parents. I tell you this sincerely and honestly for what I see around me today. Youth will come every week and this problem they have. Parents coming every week, this problem. Their daughter is stuck in zina in a relationship. Their son addicted to alcohol or drugs. This is the reality of what is happening around us. And our problem is that we love to start to deal with the problems. When they have problems, our youth, we love to try to solve those problems. We don't understand that these problems we're going through today, these are just symptoms. These are symptoms because we have not done our job, and so these problems are coming. These are not the real problem. That you can't bring them to the masjid when they're 14 or 15 and say, fix my child now. Sheikh, make him a good Muslim now at 15 or 16. This is way too late. How should we approach them? Listen to the advice of Imam Ghazali and other scholars. The most beautiful advice in raising your children. He says that a child will go through 3 stages in life. And at each stage you need something different. And the first stage is when they're born until the age of 7. So when they're born to 7 years old. This is the stage, he says, that the child needs love. Love not just from the parents, but he has to understand the parents love him unconditionally, and he has to understand the love of Allah as well. This is a time for him to soften his heart for his parents and to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As many examples of the Prophet ﷺ, when he used to be with his grandchildren Hassan and Hussein and other children around him, and at this age he used to shower them with love, hug them, kiss them, until one narration, when this Bedouin Arab came to the Prophet and he tells him, I swear by Allah, I have 10 children, and I have not hugged or kissed any one of them until today. And the Prophet looks at him, the man is boasting about his strength and how he is. The Prophet looks at him and says, what can I do about a man that Allah has removed all mercy from his heart? And the one who does not show mercy to others will not be shown mercy. And so this was the age the Prophet ﷺ gave and showered the youth at this age with love of him and love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to teach them that Allah loves them at this stage. The second stage is from 7 to 14. This is a very important stage, one that we fall short of. This, he says, is when the child needs education. This is when the child needs to be taught. What does this mean? That means you leave him in public school and say, go, this is your education? No. That the education of this child here is understanding who is Allah, understanding his responsibilities, understanding the sunnah, the religion, teach him knowledge of who he is, his morals, his values at this age. 7 to 14. And then once he hits 15, he is an adult. That's it, at the latest, or she. From 15 to 21, the last stage, what do they need from you? You've given them love. You've educated them of who they are and what they need to do. And this last stage, they need good companionship. They need you to be a good companion to them. They need advice. You spend time and communicate with them. You sit with them. You listen to their issues. You spend time and hang out with them. At this last stage, and if you mess up or mix up these stages, it's not going to work. You see, what we do today, you bring the child at 15 and try to start his Islamic education, it's too late. He's already learned what he has to learn growing up. It's too late. If you bring the child at 12 or 13, you try to give them love, they say, where was that love growing up? It's too late. If you try to teach them at 17, 18, 19, it's too late. They need advice and they need companionship. So each phase has each need that is perfect for that phase. And I want to give you an example of this beautiful methodology. If you look at the Quran and look for advice in parenting in the Quran, there is one chapter, one surah that everybody knows about, Surah Luqman. And there are verses, beautiful verses, where Luqman, who the Mufassirun, the scholars say he was a very wise man, not a prophet. He was a very wise man, and there are a series of verses where he is giving advice to his son. And we're not going to go through every single one of them, it will take hours, but just one verse, just one piece of advice Luqman gives to his son. Listen to how it comes about. The context of this, the scholars say, is that the son of Luqman, he comes to him, his father, and he says, my father, I have committed a sin. I have done something I should not have done. Is it really true? Do you think Allah really knows about this sin? Because I did it in private. Nobody could see me. Does Allah really know what I've done? Will He really hold me accountable? And listen to the answer of Luqman. It was so beautiful, it was so wise. Allah preserved His answer as His advice in the Quran for us and all generations to come as an example to learn from. So think your son or daughter comes and says, so my father, my mother, I've done something horrible, I've committed a sin. Does Allah really know about this sin? Will He hold me accountable? What would your first reaction be? Maybe you get angry. Maybe you tell them, go and repent, go and do something. Of course Allah knows everything. Of course Allah knows your sin. Listen to what Luqman says. He starts off with the following words. He says, Ya bunayya, oh my beloved son. He didn't say Ya ibni in Arabic, ibni a son. He says, my beloved son, I love you. He starts off with giving him love. Ya bunayya, innaha in taku mithqala habbatin min khardal. Oh my beloved son, imagine this example. Imagine that there was a seed the size of a mustard seed, which is literally, if you see my hand, a dot. This is how big it is. فَتَكُونْ فِي صَخْرَةٍ. If this small mustard seed was in a sakhra is a massive boulder, not a rock, hajra. A sakhra is a massive boulder, maybe the size of this mosque. So we have this massive boulder. In this boulder somewhere, there is a small seed, mustard seed, hidden in this boulder. Imagine this. If I bring you and tell you that somewhere in this world there is a boulder, find it and find that mustard seed is something impossible. Even if I tell you, here is the boulder and bring it and say that is a specific boulder, find me the seed, and I give you every single ounce of technology, say use all the means you want, bring your drills and whatever else you want and break through, what would you have to do? You would have to actually demolish that boulder and make it so every piece of that boulder equals the piece of a mustard seed to find where that seed is, which is physically impossible. 1 billion pieces or more, and then find that one seed. He says, imagine I asked you to do this. Oh, fis samawat, or this small seed, it could also be in the samawat, somewhere in the heavens. Not just our universe, in the 7 heavens which are beyond our imagination. Oh, fil ard, or this mustard seed could be somewhere on earth. So you have 3 options: in this massive boulder, or in the heavens, or somewhere in this earth. Can you come with it? Impossible. And he says, Ya'ti bi Allah. That Allah indeed will come with it. Not just come with it, with absolute ease. Ata ya'ti, to bring something with absolute ease, without any effort whatsoever. This is the strength of Allah. And then he gives him 2 beautiful names of Allah. Inna Allaha latifun khabir. Allah is latif, subtle. Why does he mention this? With all the strength Allah has to destroy this massive boulder and bring this mustard seed, He still does it with subtlety, with ease. He is qawi, He is strong, but He is subtle. Khabir, then He tells him, yes, my son, and this is how Allah knows every single thing that a person does. Look at this beautiful, beautiful example to his son. And then he says the very next advice, Ya bunayya, oh my son, I love you once again, my beloved son, aqim as-salah. Now he tells him, establish the prayer. Pray. See, he doesn't start with pray. You tell our children, go pray. It's not going to work, it's meaningless. What did Luqman do first? He told him about Allah, His rights, His strength, His characteristics, who Allah is. Once this boy knows who Allah is, then he tells him, pray. Establish, not pray, establish the prayer. And this word, aqim, aqama yuqimu, it comes with establishing or building foundations or physical buildings. For example, this masjid is built on foundations. And he's telling his son, if you go deep into this verse, as we showed, he's telling his son, my son, that the foundation of your life is your prayer now. You see this masjid, or a house, or anything else, you can move anything around. You can move this mimbar anywhere you want. Move this microphone, move that bookshelf, move the bathroom, move everything from here to there. But you cannot move the pillars, the foundation of it. Likewise, my son, your life is made up of obligations and different things. You have an exam, work, doctor's appointment, school, whatever it may be, everything can be moved around. It's flexible. Except Salah. Except the prayer, this is the foundation you have to hold firm. You want to be successful, my son or daughter, in life, but have this foundation of prayer. Everything else will come. Success in this life, in the akhirah, financial success, emotional success, everything is established on this pillar of salah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. بسم الله الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. Recently, some time ago, they did an experiment in America in which some people went to a public place and they said that we are opening a restaurant. And in this restaurant we will serve dessert, and we want to choose a cake to serve in our or sell in our restaurant. And we have two options for you. Cake A or cake B. And the first cake, they said, is worth $15. The price of this cake is $15. The second cake, the price of it is $55. And so they asked the public to start to taste the first cake first. And see, what do you think about it? The $15 one. And the people would taste it, and all of them would say, or most of them would say, that this cake is too dry. This cake is not moist enough. I don't like the coating. The cake is not sweet enough. It's not that good. And then they gave them the $55 cake and said, try this one now. And they would try that expensive cake and say, this is a delicious cake. It's exactly how it should be. It's perfectly sweet. The frosting is beautiful. This is the cake you should sell, no doubt. And then they told them something interesting. They said the cake A and cake B are actually the exact same cakes. That they were baked at the same time in the same oven with the same ingredients. There's nothing different about them. And the people couldn't believe it. Some of them said that you're lying. They said, no, this is the exact same cake. Sounds like a silly experiment, but what's the point? There's a very important, valuable lesson for us in it. It shows us that we as people, we give importance to things that seem valuable. Things that we value, we give that more importance in life. And so we ask ourselves today, in our households, that what are we showing our kids we value the most, realistically? What are we not telling them, showing them? What message do we send our kids when in our houses we spend more time on TV and phones and movies than we spend with the book of Allah and the Quran? This is a reality. What message are we sending our kids where we spend more time talking about our neighbors and friends and gossiping and chatting than we mention the name of the Prophet ﷺ? What message do we send our kids of what we value in life, where they know more history about their favorite movie stars or soccer players and basketball players in the history of the Prophet ﷺ and Islamic history? What message do we send our kids what we value when the time for prayer comes and we cannot move, we sit there watching TV, or we remain sleeping in our beds? What message are we sending our kids what we value in life? Because if you want your kids to be good Muslims, to be protected in this society, you first have to be the example as parents for them. That Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nar. O you who believe, save yourself first, take care of yourself first, and then your families, and save yourselves and them from the fire. That worry about yourself and be an example first, and your kids will then follow that example and be how they should be. I leave you with one last reminder, a very important reminder, that sometimes even though a parent or family or parents could do everything they possibly have done to keep their kid on the right path, but still Allah could choose to test us through our children. And this could happen, and this is happening. And so I leave you with the last reminder to always remember to make dua for your children, because if you are not praying and making dua for our children, what are we really doing? To remember them always, never dua against them, always pray for them and for their protection and righteousness. And the most beautiful dua is found in the Quran again. Say, رَبَّنَا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. Let's say, O our Lord, grant us from our wives and our children, our offspring, the coolness of our eyes. A family, children and wives who bring happiness to us, who are righteous and good, and make us from the muttaqeen, for the ones who have taqwa, make us imams and followers and leaders in our society. So we ask Allah to help us, give us the strength, the wisdom, and the knowledge to fulfill our responsibility as parents, and to protect our youth and our children growing up in this world, and give them success in this world and in the akhirah. Ameen. اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها أنت ولي ومولاها. اللهم ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. عباد الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. واذكروا الله يذكركم واشكروه يزدكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون.